need to detox and de-stress and get away from this business. However,
yes.
So I'm minding my own business and I start getting these DMs. Apparently this hot bag of wind that opens her mouth and has nothing of any importance to say. This woman named Jill Zarin, one of the most annoying people possibly that I've ever encountered in my existence of a human being. Now, a rumor is, so I mean, Andy, of course, has gone and said that he feels that she's the most annoying housewife and said she's back at girls trip and implied that's the end. It's what Andy implied. What do I know? Just revealing what I've read. But Ms. Zarin and I, we hate each other. Now, no, I mean, we do. Like, I fucking hate Jill
Just
Zarin.
call it like it is. Okay.
Here's the thing. I've said this before. This is a job. Everyone comes on. Of course, I like certain people. I don't like certain people.
Sure.
But, it's not really about me. But like, if you come at me and like, we are now going to have you come at me as if you are up here, according to Kelly Ben Simone, and I'm down here. It's just, there is an arrogance that exists with so many of these people. And it doesn't exist with a lot of real celebrities because they feel that they're on TV. They feel that you're up here and the rest of us are down here. And I mean, the rest of us, everyone listening to this podcast, me, you, guess what? There's people in the world that are so happy, have beautiful children, have beautiful spouses, and just are very content. And at night, when they go to bed, their minds are at peace. And that is winning. That's winning, guys. Having your mental mind at ease and your physical health. I always say, I like a lot of money. That's just me. But you don't need that. You need the mind and you need the health. And then I think it has nothing to do with being on TV. And so you look at a lot of these women that think they're up here and you're like, once you get to know them, as you and I, they're the most miserable people, some of them, not all of them, but a lot of them. Yeah. You have to admit there is something in most of these people that are on these shows. And I'm not criticizing, I'm just saying. So Jill Zarin, this horrible bag of wind, I'm minding my own business, but apparently she was just talking about me on the Brandi Glanville podcast. Brandi, thank you, because we're giving you a shout out now and everyone go listen to your podcast. I don't know what fucking, I guess it's an episode with Jill Zarin, but apparently, and this is all through DMs, I have not listened. She was saying, okay, I don't even know how this fucking comes off.
Okay, I have to go listen. Okay, go on. This sounds so good. Why aren't we listening to it live and reacting? Oh my God.
Okay, well, you go find that. And then next week we could do that. But apparently, and I don't know, she was saying, I don't know if it's an old episode, but apparently she was saying there's this guy podcaster. Okay, so now let's just get into the second thing here. She doesn't want to mention my name, even because she feels like that will give me like press and I'll be attached to her name. Honey, 9 o'clock in the morning on Monday, I've already gotten more press in the first 5 minutes of the work week than you get all fucking year. So I don't need to be attached to your name for press because this show is in the press all the time. But I can just tell you the way that this sick bitch thinks that she's like, oh, I don't want to mention his name because that would give him, please don't mention my name. I don't need your fucking press. But she's like, this guy podcaster lied about me and did me wrong and tried to like damage my reputation. Let me just tell you the story of what happened. And then we could just like put this at that. And I don't lie, by the way. She was on this show, like so many people come on this show. And I asked her a very innocent question. And the very innocent question was, would you ever go back to RHONY? Now, there's no interview you've ever done. Sarah's looking for this episode right now, guys.
I am. But it's funny because I don't know where her podcast is distributed anymore. I don't think it's on Apple. I think it's not. Okay. It's
well, what podcast in 2022
Brandy's
is not, well, I mean, it was not on Apple. That's not a good start. Sorry.
She's obviously done an exclusive deal where she can only be out. I see only new episodes on Spotify.
Okay, well then she has an exclusive deal and maybe she's gotten something good for that and I should shut up because like I'm available for an exclusive deal if the money were good enough. So maybe the joke is on me and Brandy's doing just fine. So David, get off your high egotistical horse. Like, see, I'm going to read myself here for a minute. But apparently wherever it was, she was saying all of that and it's obviously about me. This isn't just in my head. So she was on the show. And I asked her a very innocent question, like, would she ever go back to RHONY? Which there's no interview she's ever done where someone hasn't asked that. And like, You can answer that in so many ways. She took it in a very negative way. Now, the point here is she's a very unself-aware person, unfortunately. So she took it in a very negative way. And she said, I always said I wouldn't go back if it wasn't fun anymore. And she's like, ugh, those cast trips, they were so annoying. And being with all those girls, this was her answer. Now, I wasn't physically with her. I did not have a gun. I do not own a gun. I hear a lot of people in certain states have guns, and I'm all, yeah, let's not get into like whether you should have a gun or not. Like people are on this side. This is not a political show. I didn't have a gun. I wasn't with her. There was no gun to her head. I wasn't like giving her, there was no money for this interview. I wasn't like, this needs to be your answer. I'm going to compensate you thousands of dollars. I asked you a question. Now, if it were me and I were Jill Zarin and I were possibly one of the most desperate housewives, dying to go back, I would have said she's beyond desperate. If you asked me, I would have said, you know what? Never say never. Now, life is good. I am working alongside the love of my life. And I don't mean Gary. I mean my beautiful daughter, Allie. We are making masks, and these masks are available in Bloomingdale's. And I'm like a little busy with my mask business. Like, this is a real business here, David. But you know what? Never say never. And Bravo was very good to me. And maybe one day. That would have been my answer if I went to bed every night with my like fucking knee pads on and looked up at God and prayed to God that I was one day back on RHONY, which is never going to happen, in my opinion, which I'm entitled to. But instead, she trashed the girls' trip. You can go listen to the episode, guys. Jill Zarin, I'll put it up there. So it's not my fault you trashed the fucking episode, trashed the show. It's not my fault you trashed. She gave her answer. Of course, this show gets picked up by the media. That's what happens when you come on.
That's the nature of it. Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
If you don't want to be picked up, don't come on this particular podcast. I have an episode coming up on Monday with a housewife, and she was like, oh, rumor is this everything I say here can and will be used against me. I'm like, sure. Yes, actually. Sure. And anyway, Jill Zarin, how many years? I don't care if this podcast had 3 listeners. There's a microphone in front of you and we're hitting record. So okay, so she was not happy at all when her episode came out, and worldwide headlines that Jill Zarin, I think the title was Jill Zarin trashes RHONY. Now, why I didn't say any of this, so why did you just come out of your mouth? B, I don't work for People or Page Six or all these articles. That's not my headline. Now, I can tell you from doing this for 3 years, whatever is in the quotes, Jill Zarin told David Yontef, quote, is 100% correct. There are people involved, legal quotes. There's no quote that's not real. So whatever that quote is, that says that you said it, those are the exact words that you said.
Yeah.
The actual headline slams, trashes, you have to call People. You have to call Us Weekly. Each publication puts their own headline up there. I'm not the president of People magazine. I don't work for Access Hollywood. Whatever the headlines are that you don't like, associated with your quote, you got to